Good afternoon, Flosstube.
I'm Little One.
And I'm Lynette here at Homesteading on the Home Front. Welcome to episode number 61, take 2. It is September 3rd, 2020, and it's been a while.
Yep.
Our last video was May 21st. So we need to catch up. Lots to catch up on, lots to show you, but not as much as there should be after a 3-month hiatus. But summer, the garden has been keeping me busy. And that's the reason for take 2, because the camera shut off after 13 minutes, because I had so many garden videos on my card. I needed to clear them out and make memory space. So if you are interested, go find Armstrong Acres on YouTube, and that's where all my gardening videos are. Anyway, welcome if you're new here. We're talking about stitching. 2 generations worth of craziness. All right, you want to start off with FFOs?
Sure.
And let me tell you, the reason we have FFOs, the only reason, is because occasionally the Frugal Yankee group has been getting together to Zoom on Friday nights. And the theme of our last meeting was the box of shame. And so we each took turns showing all of our unfinished projects in our underbed box or box of shame or what have you. And so at the end of the evening, I gave marching orders and I said, we all need to complete at least one project. We need to FFO something from our piles. So that's why I figured if I'm issuing the marching orders, I better do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we should have figured out what this was. It's a Christmas ornament in one of the issues of Christmas ornaments.
Just cross-stitch Christmas ornaments.
I think I meant this to be like a smalls exchange item for Frugal Yankee, but I ended up liking the bird too much. So it might be in my room for Christmas. It might get a special spot in the living room.
But it's finished it on a box, so she can keep other Christmas ornaments in here. Yep. Speaking of Christmas ornaments, I knew I was missing some. And my husband started bringing stuff back from Newport, and he brought this box of Christmas ornaments. I didn't know it was down there. That's where our express shipment got shipped to from Guam, and so I must have put the cross-stitch ornaments that we made in Guam, I must have put it in the express shipment, hoping there was less of a chance of it getting lost. And so that's the only reason I can imagine that it would have been there. So the lost Christmas ornaments have been found. All right, so that's your FFO.
Yep.
My first one I had in a frame. I don't know anything about this pattern other than I stitched it in 2015. It could be a freebie. It could be an ornament out of one of the magazines. I don't know. But I had it in a frame and it was falling apart, and so I found this box in my bin in the basement and finished it up, so now it can just stand, and that's a finish. And then my second FFO, now this is a start, a finish, and an FFO since May. So this is the bloom jar. It's supposed to be red. Didn't want it red. And there's supposed to be more flowers, I think, down here, but I changed it. Now, if this looks familiar to you, it's because it's the same finish that I used for Harvest. So, I am going to stitch the 4th of July one, the patriotic one with the red flowers. And I think that's going to be the last that I'm going to do out of the canning jar series, because where I have this hanging in the kitchen, I hang Christmas stuff there during the holidays. So I figure if I do the red, white, and blue one, I have bloom for spring, I have red, white, and blue for the summer, and then I have harvest for the fall, and we're good. Those are the FFOs. You want to talk about your little finishes?
Sure. So last night I just got in the mood for some needle minders because I wanted something small after all my big projects. So I made a little Superman one.
Those are the tiniest stitches I've ever seen. I don't know what size count it is, but they're tiny.
And then I've got one of my little bees trailing a little heart.
So you can make those into needle minders.
At some point. Then I also have Lizzie Kate's Be Silly that I have changed. I've moved some stuff around, replaced that blue square with a Hufflepuff crest, and changed Silly to Loyal. And ta-da! Is all done. We might have a frame around for it.
And Mama had nothing to do with the changes. She made them all herself. She did it herself. So if you think you can't change up a pattern to personalize it, think again. You can do it. All right. My finishes. Number 1. I'm going to stand up for this one. This is Jessie Robertson. For those of you who have been around, you know that this was an antique sampler I purchased. Do you want to go see if you can find it in there?
Sure.
I have no idea where it will be.
It might have been.
Anyway, I purchased this, I charted it up, and I gave it away as my 3,000 subscriber giveaway. And I'm almost certain that the original was a Scottish sampler. And so I chose to honor my Scottish ancestors when I stitched this up. And you will also see I added in the Armstrong line here because I needed to make it longer in order to fit the 12 by 18 frame that I'm going to be using. So I will kind of talk you through it and tell you my decision-making process here. So we've got the alphabet. This is exactly as charted. And then Jessie put in her, I'm assuming they were ancestors or relatives or family members' initials. So I wanted to do the same. So basically all of these big eyelet alphabets right here are my ancestors going back. So I started with my mother and father, and then my grandfather and grandmother, and my great-grandfather and great-grandmother, etc., etc. And so we go all the way back. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 generations. So I ran out of room here, so I made these smaller. So that's 8 generations right there.
I think Dad might have put it in the basement.
You think Dad put it in the basement? We'll see. So then, after we get through my ancestors, we have a row right here. And these are my 6 aunts and uncles, my mother's siblings. And then these 2 rows right here are all of my cousins. And then these 2 initials here are my kids. So, I think there's a total of 10 generations on here. And then this part down here is exactly how Jessie stitched hers, and then I personalized it. So I just need to get going on lacing that one, and we'll be good. And then another finish is Heritage Sampler. Now I know if you're new here, you're saying, that ain't finished. But in the middle, I am going to be mounting a picture of my husband in uniform to commemorate his retirement from the Navy, which happens very, very soon. So now the story of this is, I had modified it to fit a frame. And I put it aside because I knew I couldn't personalize it until we had kind of firm dates. So I took it out the other day to finish it, and I had forgotten that I had modified the pattern. So my spacing here in the letters is wonky because there weren't as many lines as I thought there were. But that's all right. Anyway, the other problem was, because it had been put away for so long, I forgot which frame I intended to use it with. So I cleaned and I looked for it, and I found one that I thought that was the one. Like, it fit good enough. It wasn't perfect, and usually I like perfect. Like, I want the top and bottom margins to be the same as the left and right margins, and this was going to be a little off, but okay, no problem. So I posted on Instagram, yay, I found the frame. And then yesterday, I found the real frame. So it is going to be pretty perfect, I think, as long as nothing gets overly stretched or whatever when I'm lacing. So that's on tap. So hopefully, pretty soon, you will see those two as FFOs. Yeah, those are my only finishes in 3 months, but they're good finishes. I'm happy that Jesse's done, and I'm happy that Heritage Sampler is done, and I don't have to take either of them into 2021 with me. All right, whips.
Whips. My first whip is Frederick the Literate, the Dimensions kit that I've been working on for a while.
For a while.
When did I start it?
I don't know. He was a whip in April.
Ooh.
The end of March, you must have started him.
April, May, June, July, August. This doesn't look like 5 months of progress. But these two books are pretty much finished except for some backstitching, which I'm going to leave because it's gold and metallic and I don't like it. I have to change the color on the inside of this book, otherwise I would have gotten most of that done because it's too close to the outline and I couldn't tell the difference. And the cat is looking better. He is no longer a monster. He's filling out. And then I can work on books down here too, or there's a shelf up here that I'll move to. And then my second whip is Little House Needleworks Kitty Cottage Sampler. And I don't know how much I had done last time, but I know I had a little bit of the border and I might have started the alphabet, but I didn't have much of that. So there's more noticeable progress here. Yeah.
That one won't take you too much longer.
No. I'm hoping to finish it in time for another start.
All right, so my whips. This is Savior's Praise. Nice and wrinkly, fresh out of the Q-snaps. I am working down here in this area, and then I will start on wording. I am, as you can tell, I changed the wording. This is our wedding hymn. So I'm going to be continuing the hymn down here, modifying the height of the sampler a little to fit a frame that I already have, but I don't think it's going to be as difficult as it could be. So my goal is to work on this one heavily during the month of September and October. It is Sampler Soiree, Sampler September, whichever one of those is for not reproduction samplers is the one I'm participating in. So my goal originally was to have that done now because our local fair is always Labor Day weekend and I wanted to have it done in time to enter. However, when they announced that there would be no fair this year, I decided to modify my schedule and let me stitch another project, which I will show you in a minute. So right now, my goal for Savior's Praise is to concentrate on it during the month of September and October and be done by November 1st, because that's November I want a pretty clean slate and I want to be able to start a couple things, which I'll talk about later. So my second whip was not on my 2020 schedule, but I had originally ordered this large piece. It's Vintage Country Mocha. It's 20 count Ada. I originally ordered it to use as Savior's Praise, but then I got it and realized it was a little too dark, and I changed to whatever Zweigart I'm stitching on now. But I found it in my stash earlier this summer and realized that it would be perfect for One Nation because it's dark enough so that the white would really pop on it. So I got it in my head that if I started this on 4th of July and I did 1 star and 1 state a week, then I would finish it in a year. And so that's my goal. I also figured all of the straight line stitching here would be great for retreats and Zoom calls and such. So I started at July 4th, and I am caught up as of the end of October. I mean the end of August. And so I will probably bring it back out the last week in September so that I can do whatever it is for the month, 4 or 5 states and stars, and stay current on this. But I am loving the 20 count Ada. There's definitely going to be more of that in my future because it's just so easy to work on. It's easy on the eyes, but I love the small stitches. So that's it. My 2 real whips. I have the Proverbs 31 project that I was working on from La Di Da that originally I had started for Frugal Yankee. So I'm continuing to work on that very rarely in hopes of being able to just fill in at the stitch in at East Hill, which I will talk about in a moment. But that's it. So 1, 2, 3 whips. Doing pretty good. All right. Okay, I guess on to stitching. I can talk about stitching. Mm-hmm. As of right now, it's still on. The numbers in New Hampshire and all of the Northeast are staying low. What it's going to be like 2 months from now remains to be seen. But hopefully they stay low. And like I said, as of right now, it's on. Originally, the deal was we needed a minimum, I forget what the minimum was, 60 some odd people, maximum of 90. Last time I talked to the gals at East Hill, they said they were lowering, so they would cap it out at 50 so that we could social distance while stitching and eating. They also said that as of that point, there were 30 some odd paid attendees, and that was fine. We were going to be able to have it without a minimum. So I know some people are waiting to see what happens before they register, and that's fine. I know that some people who have already registered may not be able to attend because kids aren't going to be in school like they originally thought. It's all very fluid, but it's on. I will be there even if it means it's just me and I'm stitching alone in my room for the weekend. If you want to come with a group of people from, you know, your state or your stitchy group or whatever and rent one of their lodges and stay in the common area in that lodge and stitch, that's fine. Like the whole theme of this retreat is you do you. Whatever makes you comfortable. I think we all need a getaway at this point, and so it's a great opportunity for a getaway. If you want to come with a friend and stay in your room and stitch together all weekend and come out and eat, that's fine too. You don't have to feel like you need to spend the weekend in the common stitchy area. It's going to be fun, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Whatever makes you comfortable, whatever is going to help your sanity. And if helping your sanity means canceling your registration and staying home, that's fine too, right? Whatever makes you comfortable. So if I remember, I will stick the link below to the site. You have to call the Inn at East Hill for reservations and deposits. I have nothing to do with that. Like, this is their retreat. I just suggested it to them and was very happy that they agreed to host it. So what I'm really hoping is that in spite of COVID and all that's going on, it just really is a great weekend and it becomes an annual thing because it's perfect. Nobody has to plan it, right? I don't have to worry about any logistical stuff, which is great. Everything is done through them, and they provide the meals, they provide the rooms, they provide the stitchy room. So I hope it can be an annual thing. I know they do a lot of knitting retreats because there are a lot of yarn makers in that area, but hopefully cross stitching gets added to the list because it's a great spot. All right, stitching, that's it. Let's talk about plans and haul.
Plans. I do not have haul. I might for the next video though. I have no idea because this is going to be my birthday start. Lizzie Kate's Be Who You Are. I'm finally going to start it, and it'll probably be good for Zoom calls once school starts too, if I, like, not math, but if I just have a Zoom call where I just have to sit there, I can just stitch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because school has not started yet for Eldest and I.
Massachusetts schools are not starting until September 16th. For my two girls, they will be completely online until October 15th, at which point they will be going back for Thursday morning and Friday mornings. Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they will be all remote. So basically there are two cohorts. One meets Monday, Tuesday morning. The other meets Thursday, Friday morning. Nobody's in school on Wednesday because they're cleaning. I also may be going back on October 15th because one of the math teachers had knee replacement surgery and is out for 12 weeks. So she can do the online teaching from home, but she won't be able, I don't think, to do the in-person stuff, which is fine because I would much rather teach in person than I would online. So yeah, I may be going back, and I would be 4 days. I would be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday mornings, which personally is like my ideal teaching job. I don't have to deal with parents. I don't have to grade papers. I don't have to do the lesson plans because she'd be doing that. All I would have to do is teach.
And it also means we get an extra hour of sleep in the mornings, which is fantastic.
Because there's no bus ride, yeah. All right, so that's your plans.
That's my plans.
So, I told you my plan of concentrating on Savior's Praise for September and October. I am going to allow myself a new start on September 6th, which is, what is this called? Mayflower Rose Ornament. Now this is small, but it's pretty full coverage. So I'm going to start this September 6th and work on it and plan to finish it whenever it was that the Mayflower landed. So September 6th I'll get started on it. I don't know if I'm going to do a strand a day or if I'm going to divide it into quadrants. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll figure it out, and I will finish this sometime in November with the Mayflower. And then, is that all I'm planning to... So basically September and October for me are going to be like very similar stitching. It's going to be One Nation, it's going to be mostly Savior's Praise, and it's going to be some of the Mayflower Rose Ornament. November comes around, it's a different story, because hopefully Savior's Praise is done. Mayflower Rose will be getting done. It's also the stitch-in. So I have the Proverbs 31 sampler from La Di Da that I want to take to the stitch-in. I will probably take One Nation to the stitch-in and do some of the brainless straight lines. And then I'm going to have a new start, which I probably should have brought over and I forgot to. But it's the Teresa Koger, the sheep with the scarf pattern. I know you've all seen it. I don't even know what it's called. But I figured that would be a great start at East Hill because it's actually a working farm. We'll be able to go and collect our chicken eggs and bring them in and have them cook them for breakfast if we want. So I figured I would start that pattern there. I've been wanting to stitch it for a while. I'm going to be doing it on a blue background, which is, I think the cross stitch version calls for a tan background, but I think the punch needle is on a blue background. So I have the perfect piece of linen, so I'm doing it on a blue background. If anybody else wants to join in, whether or not you're going to the retreat, feel free. So that will be November, and then also hopefully Winter Manor will be released. I'm waiting for Brenda Gervais to release that one because I really want to stitch it. So November is, you know, the new things. And then December is probably going to be finishing up the new things so that I don't have to take them into the new year. And then, real quick, because I've got 4 minutes left, haul. This one I got from eBay. This is the Marianne Armstrong sampler, which you know that Armstrong is a family name. But Marianne Armstrong is my aunt. Marianne Armstrong used to live in this house. So I saw it on eBay and I knew I had to get it. Some of the colors, it's got pinks and some wonky colors that I will change up. But I saw it, it was symmetrical, I had to have it. It came to live with me. And then this last one.
Did you show those other ones?
I don't know if I'm going to have time. All right. This was also an eBay find. Many of you will recognize it as And They Sinned. Now you know me. You know I'm cheap. You know I do not pay exorbitant eBay prices for hard to find projects. So let me tell you about this one. This one was listed as an exorbitant price if it was just the chart. And I think that's what kept people from bidding on it. There was nothing mentioned in the listing about linen. But when I scrolled through and saw the pictures, I saw that the linen was included. So for the price of a normal chart and linen, I basically paid retail for this, which I cannot get over. But anyway, the deal with the linen is it's 28 count, and whoever was going to do this intended on stitching it over 1. And I don't know if I'm going to stitch it over 1 on 28 count, but it's flax linen. I can use this for anything, even if I don't use it for And They Sinned. Now, this is not an immediate radar project. I know Amy Gable Stitcher has it. I know our Frugal Yankee Stitcher Kat has it. Kat, you need to start Flosstube, by the way. Get on that. I forget if we said we were going to stitch it in 2021 or 2022, but yeah, not anytime soon. So if this is sitting in your stash, plan to join us. Who knows when it'll be. All right. I think that's it. We're looking at 28 and a half minutes. We've got some time to sign off, and that's it. So, hopefully it won't be 3 months till you see us again. Next time you see us, the kids will probably be online learning. And hopefully we will do it before any of us has to go back physically to school. Anyway, all right, we wish you well, Flosstube. I'm behind in my watching, but I miss you all. I miss our visits, so I need to catch up, which I'm trying to do slowly. All right, until we see you again, fair winds and following seas.